me just double check that I'm using the right mic. It's always a problem. Yep. Okay. All right. We'll try again. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. So today we are going to look at a super awesome little app that just got re-released with tons of updates. So one of the things that I think is the hardest thing to do when you're juggling so many things as a mompreneur is to stay consistent in creating content. And we know that creating content and keeping that content updated is one of the biggest things that we can do as a business, as a small business, because as long as we have content, then we can sell it. We can, have things to put into our funnels and so forth. So a lot of times, we have these great ideas, but getting it into a piece of a printable content is hard. We have to, juggle Canva, or maybe we have InDesign or a publisher, or we're using PowerPoint or something like that. So it just takes time, it takes energy, and that's just to create the content, to create the printable. It also takes kind of finding all of the different tips or different things that we want to put in there. So this little app by Amy Harrup is called Tip Pub Creator. And it's a fun little tool that helps you in a lot of different categories just create a little printable that has a bunch of tips. Very simple, very easy to use, and super fast to create some content. So this is the first page that you get to when you purchase the little app. And from here, we would just go in and pick, a topic. So I was choosing business before, just kind of playing around with it. So we'll do business and then entrepreneurs maybe. And let's say I'm doing a little printable about testimonials and how to get testimonials, and maybe different apps for testimonials and so forth. So maybe I want this 6 powerful tips to creating some testimonials. And if I click on here, and then if I click on the drop down, I can go in and select all. If I don't like one of them, I can go in and unselect the one that I don't like, and it won't include it. Very easy to add and so forth. And then you can also add tips really easily. I have another tip that I want to add in here. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. So we'll make the process as easy as possible to get the testimonial. So we'll add that. And let's say definitely don't want that to be the first one. Let's see. So maybe down here. So now we have 7 tips. So if we click back up here, we can edit this one. We can duplicate the tip. So if we don't quite like how one is written out, we can definitely duplicate it, and then we could edit that new duplication. So lots of different things that we can do here. So, okay, so now we have 7 tips. It still says 6 tips, but we'll leave it at that. Up here, once we have kind of chosen the tips that we want, you can also select a CSV to kind of bring in some tips. So that's a great idea as well. Let's go in and we're going to change maybe the font. Lumos. Let's see what Lumos looks like, and maybe make it a little bit larger. This is a really sweet option as well. You can have writing lines in between. So if you want like a little notes section, that's a great way to do it. And then you can also have just blank spaces in between tips. So it just has a little bit more room. And then you can go in and select a border. So there's lots of different borders that you can choose from. That's kind of cool. It just kind of add something new to it, something different. And then you have 3 different export options. And right before we do that, we're going to look at, we have lots of different page sizes. So you can go in and create like a small little booklet to, a full 8.5 by 11. There's also A4 and A5 for European markets. And then last but not least, you can add some bullets. So you can add numbers or bullets. If you are exporting to PDF or PowerPoint, you can add some different options as well here. So we'll do an arrow for this one, and let's export it as a PDF first. So let's see how that looks. So one thing that has been a little difficult, and I chose like a really interesting font here, has been to, the PDFs have been a little rough, in my opinion. So I've stayed away from the PDFs, but the Word document that I did earlier worked really well. So we'll grab that. And then let's try a PowerPoint. I don't think I've tried a PowerPoint yet. So try PowerPoint as well. And I have Keynote, so this is going to be switching it to Keynote, but we can take a look. So here's the, oh, and I don't have Lumos, so it's not bringing in the actual font. So let's change the font to something. I have all kinds of fonts, so I like just normal fonts. Usually I have way too many like scripty fonts. Okay. And then it's a quick, not too hard to go in and just kind of increase the document margins so that it works on the sides. So let's do a little bit on that side and a little bit on that side, and that should work. So, and we'll change this to 7. I love the formats that are editable because then I can go in and kind of add my own to it, which, we always want to do. We don't want it to look always the same as everybody else's. And since it doesn't quite fit on one page, maybe I change this back to like 16 or 14. Can see also that there were 2 spaces like I defined. So I could also go back and maybe change it so that there aren't spaces. For some of this, once you get into that editable format, then you can play around with it. If you're doing it straight into a PDF, then you can just go back and forth and play with it a little bit. Let's take a look at our PowerPoint here, which is going to open in Keynote, but all right, so same thing. We had some issues with the margins. That particular border looks like it was a little large. And again, I didn't have that specific font. So we'll change it to Poppins. And so then with this, you have a little bit more of a kind of a layout editor, more or less. So we can kind of move things around. So you see that it does actually make everything into its own little box. So that is nice. So if you're used to using PowerPoint for layout and doing things in PowerPoint, then this will definitely be kind of an option that will be really helpful. I'm not, as you can see. So I'm having trouble kind of going in and editing it. But so we can make this smaller so that fits. There we go. So I'm getting there. So you get the idea. You can definitely go in and edit. If you bring it into Word, you could also, if you want to add a little bit more to it, then you could also very easily just copy and paste that into Canva, and then kind of use Canva as kind of the editor to make your border and stuff like that. But that's not at all necessary. People just want the content of these things. Let's see what we find with Page with Border. But you could definitely go in and kind of find a fun border here. Make sure that you have access, that you have commercial rights to it before you do much with it. But you could go in and pick one of these and then just copy and paste from Word or PowerPoint or whatever app that you export it to. So really, really simple. I mean, all of these we definitely created in under 5 minutes. We created multiple versions in under 5 minutes, and have also figured out how to make it look even better in under 5 minutes. So I love this tool in that it's a great starting place. And even if it's not my final, version, it definitely quickens everything up very, very much. So we could do that and then maybe do like a line separator here, something like that. And there you go. It's a nice little printable. So there's definitely a lot that can be said for this app, and I love the pricing of it. It's only $27. Oh, this is all of the training and stuff like that. So she has step-by-step of how to add your own categories and tips, selecting all the tips with one-click update, fonts and content, formatting tips, kind of tips and troubleshooting. And then you can install your fonts on your Mac or on your PC or on Google Slides. So remember, we can always, open these in Google Docs or Google Slides as well for editing. So it's just a really, really great little app. And I love the different categories. A lot of these are not things that I work with a lot. So if I wanted to create something really quickly as kind of an offshoot of what I'm doing, this would be a great way to kind of get started in doing some of that. So like time management, I am actually going to move into productivity this month. So, some of these time management things might be really good as a little freebie, or as a kind of a page later in an ebook or something like that, or just integrating it into the ebook. So a lot of possibilities, and I can't believe how cheap it is. It's only, I believe it's 27. Yes. Yes, so it's $27 until the 4th of July, and then which is introductory pricing, and then she's going to raise it to $37. So it's definitely a super, super awesome deal right now. And I think for $27, it's so worth it to be able to create things so quickly. Create something quickly for a bundle, like the back to school bundle that is coming up. How many of these could, work for that? Time management, that's a great thing for back to school. There was also relationships, maybe home and garden. No. And then again, you can create your own. So if you have different things to do with back to school, or 10 tips for making sure your kiddos are ready for the first day of school or something like that, then you can create your own little, category, or you can add it in. So here's a category about parenting. So you could add it into this category, or you can add in your own category completely. So right here, the journal prompts, this is my own category. So then you create a name and a description, and then you add your own things there. So anyway, a little preview of this cool little app. I love it. They've done so many updates recently on it, and I think it's totally worth it. Totally worth the $27 to make the process of creation so much easier and get you to a really, really good starting place. So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.